We'll start off building our robot using the pencil tool. If you're following along, you can create a new blank document, or if you have access to the exercise files, you can find o2_pencil.fla in the Chapter 3 folder. Now let's select the pencil tool in the toolbar. When you hover over any tool, you'll see the keyboard shortcut. The keyboard shortcut for the pencil tool is Y. So with the pencil tool selected, the first thing I want you to do is at the very bottom of the toolbar, you'll see some options. Remember we talked about the options area of the toolbar that's at the very bottom. It changes based on which tool you have selected. For most of the drawing we'll be doing in this chapter, I want you to turn off something called object drawing. Object drawing is that button, it looks like a circle with a box around it. It looks a little bit different on the Mac and on the PC. But if it matches the background, then that means the option is deselected, which is what I want. If it doesn't match the background, see how I have a dark gray button here and the background is a lighter gray, that means the button's selected. So we want to deselect that button. I'll talk a little bit more about that drawing mode a little bit later on, but for now let's just have that button deselected. And then we have the pencil mode button. You can see the black arrow in the right corner indicating that there's a flyout menu if you click and hold your mouse down. And there's 3 different pencil modes. Let's leave it on straighten first. We'll talk about the modes as we draw in just a second. But before we draw anything, let's look in the property inspector. Notice that you see pencil tool in the left edge of the property inspector. This is Flash telling you that you're working with the pencil tool. You can select a stroke color in the property inspector. I'm just going to leave the default black. And that's to the right of the text field area. I'm going to drag the slider down. I'm holding my mouse down. I'm going to drag it to about 3. So if you're a little over 3, that's fine. A little under, that's fine as well. And now I'm going to click and drag to draw on the stage. And I'm going to draw kind of a curvy line. Then release my mouse button. And notice that it's kind of jagged. See, there's certain points, like on the right edge of the line that I drew. On the left side, there's some jagged edges. So you can tell that Flash took my kind of curvy line and straightened it out a little bit. The same thing might not have happened when you drew your line. The reason for that is the way that the pencil draws is set in your Flash preferences. Let's take a look at those right now. I'm going to choose Flash and then Preferences. On the Mac, it's Edit Preferences. For the category, choose Drawing. That's the left side of the Preferences window. And then in here, you'll see some options for Connect Lines, Smooth Curves, Recognize Lines, Recognize Shapes. These are the options that you can specify so that Flash will modify the lines that you draw. For right now, let's just leave them all at normal. I'm going to click OK to exit this window. Then I'm going to undo drawing that line. The way I'm going to do that is to press Command-Z on my keyboard. It's Control-C if you're on a PC. Now let's change the pencil mode. Back in the Options area of the toolbar at the very bottom, click the Pencil Mode button, it's the one with the flyout menu, and hold your mouse down and choose Smooth. On the stage, try to draw a jagged line. And watch how Flash sort of smooths it out for you. The Smooth Pencil mode makes Flash smooth out the jagged lines that you may draw. Now you may be thinking, okay, what if I want Flash to draw exactly what I draw, or to Flash to match my drawing? That's the third pencil mode called Ink. I'm going to press Command-Z or Control-Z on the PC to go back, erase the line we just drew, and then go to the Ink mode by selecting it through the Pencil Mode flyout menu at the bottom of the toolbar. Let's choose Ink and draw some crazy, wacky line, and notice that Flash matches it. If you'd like to draw a different type of stroke, in the Property Inspector, there's a drop-down menu called the Stroke Style drop-down. If you click that drop-down, it should say Solid right now, you can choose a different stroke style. One way you can do this is to choose a stroke style before you draw a stroke. Another way is to select a stroke on the stage and then change it with this menu. So I'm going to choose the Selection tool, the Property Inspector. The keyboard shortcut, by the way, is V. I'm going to click in the top left of the stage and drag all the way down to the bottom right of the stage, and see I'm creating kind of a box area, and this is going to select this whole stroke. With the stroke selected, I'm going to click the Stroke Style drop-down and choose a different stroke style. I'm going to choose a dotted line. You can see that the stroke changes to a dotted line. So now that we know how to use a pencil tool, let's start creating our robot. I'm going to press Command-Z a few times until the stroke disappears off the stage. Choose the pencil tool, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Y. Then for our pencil mode, Let's choose Straighten. Before we draw the stroke, we'll have to change back to a solid stroke. In the Property Inspector, click the Stroke Style drop-down, choose Solid, then on the stage, draw a rectangle to represent the robot's head. It doesn't have to be perfect. As you can tell, mine's not too perfect. But notice that Flash recognizes that you're trying to draw a rectangle and kind of converts it into a rectangle. Next, I'm going to draw some eyes, and I'm going to draw rectangles for the eyes as well. Notice again, they're not perfect, but Flash is turning them into rectangles for me. Then next, I'm going to create the mouth of the robot to be a separate rectangle below the robot's head. So I'll create that now. And again, I'm not drawing a perfect rectangle, but Flash knows I'm drawing a rectangle, so it converts it into a rectangle for me. So now we've drawn a robot head. And there's a look at how to use the pencil tool.